The name Webster's Dictionary may refer to any of the line of dictionaries first developed by Noah Webster in the early 19th century and numerous unrelated dictionaries that adopted Webster's name just to share his prestige. The term Webster's has become a generic trademark in the U.S. for comprehensive dictionaries of the English language. However, the only succeeding dictionaries that can trace their lineage to the one established by Noah Webster are those now published by Merriam-Webster. Noah Webster's American Dictionary of the English Language. Noah Webster, the author of the readers and spelling books that dominated the American market at the time, spent decades of researching compiling his dictionaries. His first dictionary, a compendious dictionary of the English language, appeared in 1806. In it, he popularized features that would become a hallmark of American English spelling and included technical terms from the arts and sciences rather than confining his dictionary to literary words. Webster was a proponent of English spelling reform for reasons both philological and nationalistic. In A Companion to the American Revolution, John Algeo notes, "It is often assumed that characteristically American speakings were invented by Noah Webster. He was very influential in popularizing certain speakings in America, but he did not originate them. Rather, he chose already existing options such as center, color and check on such grounds as simplicity, analogy or etymology." In William Shakespeare's first folios, for example, speakings such as center and color are the most common. He spent the next 2 decades working to expand his dictionary. First edition 1828 and 1828, at the age of 70. Noah Webster published his American Dictionary of the English Language in 2 quarto volumes containing 70,000 entries, as against the 58,000 of any previous dictionary. There were 2,500 copies printed, at $20 for the 2 volumes. At first, the set sold poorly. When he lowered the price to $15, its sales improved, and by 1836 that edition was exhausted. Not all copies were bound at the same time. The book also appeared in publishers' boards. Other original bindings of a later date are not unknown. Second edition 1841 printing in 1841. 82-year-old Noah Webster published a revised and expanded edition of his lexicographical masterpiece in 2 volumes, a second edition, corrected and enlarged, of the American Dictionary of the English Language, with the help of his son, William G. Webster. It was published in octavo size, and contained the whole vocabulary of the quarto, with corrections, improvements and 5,000 additional words. Published by the author, the first printing was in 1841 by B.L. Hamlin, of New Haven, Connecticut. 1844 printing. When Webster died, his heirs sold unbound sheets of his 1841 revised American Dictionary of the English Language to the firm of J.S. and C. Adams of Amherst, Massachusetts. This firm bound and published a small number of copies in 1844, the same edition that Emily Dickinson used as a tool for her poetic composition. However, a $15 price tag on the book made it too expensive to sell easily, so the Amherst firm decided to sell out. Merriam acquired rights from Adams, as well as signing a contract with Webster's heirs for sole rights. 1845 printing. A third printing of the second edition was in 1845 by George and Charles Merriam, Springfield, Massachusetts. And this was the first Webster's Dictionary with a Merriam imprint. Impact. Lepore demonstrates Webster's innovative ideas about language and politics, and shows why Webster's endeavors were at first so poorly received. Culturally conservative Federalists denounced the work as radical, too inclusive in its lexicon and even bordering on vulgar. Meanwhile, Webster's old foes, the Jeffersonian Republicans, attacked the man, labeling him mad for such an undertaking. Scholars have long seen Webster's 1844 dictionary to be an important resource for reading poet Emily Dickinson's life and work. She once commented that the lexicon was her only companion for years. One biographer said, "The dictionary was no mere reference book to her, she read it as a priest his breviary, over and over, page by page." With utter absorption, Austen explores the intersection of lexicographical and poetic practices in American literature, and attempts to map out a lexical poetics using Webster's dictionaries. He shows the ways in which American poetry has inherited Webster and drawn upon his lexicography in order to reinvent it. Austen explicates key definitions from both the compendious and American dictionaries and brings into its discourse a range of concerns including the politics of American English, the question of national identity and culture in the early moments of American independence, and the poetics of citation and of definition. Webster's dictionaries were a redefinition of Americanism within the context of an emergent and unstable American socio-political and cultural identity. Webster's identification of his project as a federal language shows his competing impulses towards regularity and innovation in historical terms. Perhaps the contradictions of Webster's project represented a part of a larger dialectical play between liberty and order within revolutionary and post-revolutionary political debates. Other dictionaries with Webster's name, Noah Webster's assistant, and later chief competitor, Joseph Emerson Worcester, and Webster's son-in-law Chauncey A. Goodrich, published an abridgment of Noah Webster's 1828 American Dictionary of the English Language in 1829, with the same number of words and Webster's full definitions, but without the literary references. Although it was more successful financially than the original 1828 edition and was reprinted many times, Noah Webster was critical of it. Worcester and Goodrich's abridgment of Noah Webster's 1841 edition was printed, this time by Harper and Brothers of New York City, in 1844, with added words as an appendix. New and Revised Edition 1847 upon Webster's death in 1843. The unsold books and all rights to the copyright and name of Webster were purchased by brothers George and Charles Merriam, who then hired Webster's son-in-law Chauncey A. Goodrich, a professor at Yale College, to oversee revisions. Goodrich's New and Revised Edition appeared on 24 September 1847, and a revised and enlarged edition in 1859, which added a section of illustrations indexed to the text. His revisions remained close to Webster's work, but removed what later editors referred to as his excrescences. British impact in 1850. Blackie & Son in Glasgow published the first general dictionary of English that made heavy use of pictorial illustrations integrated with the text. The Imperial Dictionary, English, technological, and scientific, adapted to the present state of literature, science, and art, on the basis of Webster's English Dictionary. Editor John Ogilvie used Webster's 1841 edition as a base, adding many new, specialized, and British words, increasing the vocabulary from Webster's 70,000 to more than 100,000. Unabridged Edition 1864 in response to Joseph Worcester's groundbreaking Dictionary of 1860, a dictionary of the English language, the G and C. Merriam Company created a significantly revised edition, a dictionary of the English language. It was edited by Yale University professor Noah Porter and published in 1864, containing 114,000 entries. It was sometimes referred to as the Webster Mann edition, because it featured revisions by Dr. C.A. F. Mann, who replaced unsupportable etymologies which were based on Webster's attempt to conform to biblical interpretations of the history of language. It was the first edition to largely overhaul Noah Webster's work, and the first to be known as the Unabridged. Later printings included additional material, a supplement of additional words and definitions, containing more than 4,600 new words and definitions in 1870. 1879. A pronouncing biographical dictionary containing more than 9,700 names of noteworthy persons in 1879, and a pronouncing gazetteer in 1884. The 1883 printing of the book contained 1,928 pages and was 8.5 in wide by 11.5 in tall by 4.25 in thick. The 1888 printing is similarly sized, with the last printed page number, 1935, which has on its back further content, and closes with whole number of pages 2012. This dictionary carries the 1864 preface by Noah Porter with postscripts of 1879 and 1884. James A. H. Murray, the editor of the Oxford English Dictionary, says Webster's Unabridged Edition of 1864 acquired an international fame. It was held to be superior to every other dictionary, and taken as the leading authority on the meaning of words, not only in America and England, but also throughout the Far East. Webster's International Dictionary. Porter also edited the succeeding edition, Webster's International Dictionary of the English Language, which was an expansion of the American dictionary. It contained about 175,000 entries. In 1900, Webster's International was republished with a supplement that added 25,000 entries to it. In 1898, the Collegiate Dictionary also was introduced. Webster's New International Dictionary 1909. The Merriam Company issued a complete revision in 1909. Webster's New International Dictionary, edited by William Torrey Harris and F. Sturgis Allen, vastly expanded. It covered more than 400,000 entries, and doubled the number of illustrations. A new format feature, the divided page, was designed to save space by including a section of words below the line at the bottom of each page. 6 columns of very fine print, devoted to such items as rarely used, obsolete, and foreign words, abbreviations, and variant spellings. Notable improvement was made in the treatment and number of discriminated synonyms, comparisons of subtle shades of meaning. Also added was a 20-page chart comparing the Webster's pronunciations with those offered by 6 other major dictionaries. Webster's New International Dictionary. In 1934, the New International Dictionary was revised and expanded for a second edition, which is popularly known as Webster's Second or W2, although it was not published under that title. It was edited by William Allen Neilson and Thomas A. Knott. It contained 3,350 pages and sold for $39.50. Some versions added a 400-page supplement called A Reference History of the World, which provided chronologies from earliest times to the present. The editors claimed more than 600,000 entries, more than any other dictionary at that time. But that number included many proper names and newly added lists of undefined combination words. Multiple definitions of words are listed in chronological order, with the oldest, and often obsolete, usages listed first. For example, the first definition of starve includes dying of exposure to the elements, as well as from lack of food. The numerous picture plates added to the book's appeal and usefulness, particularly when pertaining to things found in nature. Conversely, the plates showing the coins of the world's important nations quickly proved to be ephemeral. Numerous gold coins from various important countries were included, including American eagles, at a time when it had recently become illegal for Americans to own them, and when most other countries had withdrawn gold from active circulation as well. Early printings of this dictionary contained the famous Dord. Because of its style and word coverage, Webster's Second is still a popular dictionary. For example, in the case of Miller Brewing Co. v.G. Heilmann Brewing Co., Inc., 561 F2D 75, a trademark dispute in which the terms light and light were held to be generic for light beer and therefore available for use by anyone, the U.S.